This week is the 5th anniversary of the Fern Creek and Western Garden Railroad from when we started it, 2014. So in commemoration of that, we're doing a steam up today, and we have, I think, 10 live steam locomotives that a bunch of friends of ours have brought. So in the video, you're going to see them running around. It's also kind of our first annual derail-a-thon to an extent, because live steam engines derail a lot. So it's going to be interesting. John will be using the bleep tool in his video probably more than any other video he's ever produced today. It's going to be great. Especially since we got this guy here.
Hey, hey, hey. You guys might remember me from the San Benito Southern Railroad in Hollister, California, or from John's Toy Trains 101 videos with the American Flyer, or from Chasing Trains. I've been in all of them. So,
and he's proud of it, too.
Proud of it. Corrupting the airwaves, the web.
Goofy Gary's behind you.
Goofy Gary's
like
here.
TSG All-Star. It's an all-star show, Trevor.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying he's going to have to use the bleep tool a lot.
I've had too many phone calls. I don't think this thing is going to make it very far.
My name's Charlie. I'm here with my little Mammoth Brunel that I've heavily modified. Basically what I've done to it is I've changed out the main cylinder with the Graham Hill Industries cylinder and geared it back down to 8-to-1 gear reduction instead of 4-to-1 like it originally was. Right now she's building up steam next to Trevor's 260, which is very nice. And we're going to see how well she pulls.
The issue is there's like a
Today I've brought two of my engines here. The first is the Shea, which is a model of the Michigan California Lumber Company Shea number 5. Like most of the engines here today, this is made by AccuCraft. And this is a more advanced level steamer than the other one that I brought here, which is the Ruby, which is a very beginner steam engine. It was my first steam engine, and a lot of people start with these so you can decide if you really like live steam before you invest a significant amount of money with it.
No, she's pretty efficient. I love it.
What steam pressure does it run at?
I think I put a 60 on the top valve, but she runs about 40.
Wow. I like that little thing. That is really cute. It looks like she's going to make it.
Just barely.
That is so neat.
right now is 55. It's reading the same thing. I think I forgot what I put in the engine. You'll see those then?
Anyone who's paid close attention may recall that in a previous Fern Creek and Western episode, I broke off a shield to one of the gears on this very locomotive. And I did it and repaired it behind Trevor's back. And he was mad about it later. And the same thing happened this morning, but I fixed it again. This cover right here broke off. And it's done it before. And I lovingly did a field repair on it this morning. And now it's okay. And Trevor's going to allow me to eat tonight.
What kind of live steamer is this, though?
This is the Eastern European type electric Tesla. Yeah.
I always carry mountain currency with me.
So it looks like the Shay's ready to go.
Oh yeah. I think you need one.
I do.
Here?
Yeah, just pull that past the switch.
You know, I got the one right here.
Oh yeah, that's gonna work pretty well actually.
I'm special something.
Yeah, you're different kind of special.
We all
There.
know Kevin's special.
How's that?
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay. I don't know if we got enough headroom to get out of that. Oh yeah, we do.
One car. No, you're over.
Oh.
Okay. Your coupler open too. Okay. Let's give it a try.
I don't know if I can reach the throttle from here. I think we derailed again. We got to do some brush cutting on this railroad.
Ow!
Is it still
Damn, it
hot?
got the rail hot too.
I know another railroad that could use some brush cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're running on real logging railroad track here.
Yeah.
Crappiest track on the railroad.
What did you bring today?
My 2 steam engines.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came from Russia. The Russian steam engines. And they're going to be rushing around here.
Now you're going to give Kevin his prostate exam.
Yeah.
So what happened over there, Kevin?
Huh?
What happened?
The f***er derailed. I think I'm out of gas too.
Damn it. You can fart in it.
Yeah. With live steam, the first rule is water. The second rule is water, and the third rule is water, and after that you can worry about fire.
So how often do you have to refuel and rewater this thing?
It runs for about 10-15 minutes on the fuel tank, and water kind of depends on how hard you're working it. Well, I'm putting water in the boiler here. This is our water pump. We don't have injectors on these little engines. And my water glass sucks. Well, we're putting fuel in the engine now. This is butane gas. I think everybody that's here is running butane today, but they do make live steamers that run on alcohol and coal. So I'm chasing my engine around right now because neither of my engines are equipped with radio control. That's an aftermarket thing that most everybody else here has RC on their engines. I don't, because on my layout it's really pointless because I have pretty much access to it wherever I go.
So there are two engines we have here that are native to the railroad. The little Forney, which is the one we always run here, but we also have a new engine that we recently purchased, which is this Live Steam Mogul here. It's a 260, and we got it about, I'd say, like a year or so ago, and we've been doing a lot of work to it. We just finished putting RC in it, and just repainted the smoke box, did a bunch of work to it, got a new burner, new steam valve, a whole bunch of things put in it, and it's kind of its first big test day today. It's running okay. We had to re-gauge the drivers this morning because it was having all sorts of issues, derailing all over the railroad, but it is running pretty well so far, and so it's kind of cool to see a big engine that can actually pull some of our larger cars running around the railroad, and it pulls pretty good, so we're excited to be running it today for sure. But it was definitely a long road getting it to here because it had been sitting for quite a few years when it got here, so it needed a lot of tune-up before it could run. And when we first got it running last summer, it was needing some work. So we've spent the last month or so kind of getting it back together, and it's running quite well today, which is good.
I'm attempting to tighten my line shaft with the engine. You're doing a drawing shaft style system, yeah. Overall. That thing is almost ear piercing.
Are those cans refillable?
No. Doesn't work. I'll try this one.
Yeah, I want to see the gear look better.
Yeah.
Hi. This is why I'm no longer in the garden railroad business. It's really hard to get up and down off the ground. But we fired the engine up. Hopefully we'll get ahead of steam. We had trouble the first time. I don't know what it was, but it just didn't seem to be building up steam pressure, but hopefully this time it will. I'm impressed. It actually is running quite well on the layout here. However, the engine has some problems. The throttle, we've disconnected the throttle from the servo.
It is.
Can I come out? Yeah, go ahead.
I think we'll bring her in.
Okay. We'll run you through here and onto the Y to get you out of the way of everything.
Yeah.
So I've had this little Ruby right here for over 10 years and slowly been working on it to make it the locomotive I've wanted. Because it started off looking like this engine right here. This engine doesn't really look like a locomotive I'd like to have. So one of the first things I did to it was I took these saddle tanks off right here. and built a small tender out of balsa wood and an Accucraft flat car, used it for journals, and built this little tank right here. And this isn't the first evolution of that tank either. It's been through many different design changes, and it's been crushed by my friends sitting on it, and all sorts of horrible things have happened to it, but that's finally the form it has taken. You can actually still see part of the original frame where that brass is. The next thing I did to this engine was I put a boiler jacket on it, because I found it losing a lot of heat through the boiler itself, and I wanted to insulate that out, so I made it out of cork and brass. Well, it looks a little bit thicker here, where this one doesn't. A few years after I had this locomotive, Accucraft released a cylinder upgrade kit to go from 3/8 cylinders to 1/2-inch cylinders. And I bought the set and went to go put it on my locomotive and found out that the cylinders would not fit at all. So I went to Accucraft and they straightened out the problem by giving me an original frame off the prototype Forney, the very first Forney they ever built, which looks like this. And the neat thing about Forneys is they have a longer wheelbase than a Ruby. So when I had to change out the frame, I chopped the frame out real bad and remounted my boiler so it's farther back, put the 1/2-inch cylinders on it, timed the eccentrics, and got it all working good. And over the next couple years, I ended up just putting small detail parts on all over the place, like the headlight, this wooden cow catcher, this wooden cab I built from a kit. And the neat thing, if you look at the headlight on this locomotive closely, I've actually milled it out and used the inside of an aluminum can, polished up the aluminum, drilled a hole in it, got the right cone diameter, and put a headlight through the center of it, just like the old locomotives would have had, like an old kerosene lamp or an arc light. It works if you put a battery to it, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And probably in the next couple of years it'll be working. Stack. I always love those little sunflower stacks versus these little straight stacks. I think they have a little more character. Put a little chuffer in it so it has a little bit more bark when she's working up the grades, and added RC in it in a very complex way to where I have 2 throttles. I still have the original Ruby throttle completely ready to use as if it was not radio controlled, but then I have a secondary throttle after that hooked up to an RC valve that allows me to get full throttle with the limited throw of a servo. Because you used to have to open these things up a lot before you'd actually started to move. I also popped up the pressure to 65 psi off its original 40, so she has a little more torque in the low end too. Combined with those 1/2-inch cylinders and that chuffer, she can really put up a show going up a grade. She's my first engine, that's why she's number 1. And she continues to be number 1 out of my whole fleet, although I do have this little logging locomotive back here. Had fun building that. Little kit bash thing. But that's my engine.
This Ruby's completely stock. It's a good beginner engine for anybody that wants to experiment with live steam before you spend any real money on a big engine. You can get into something like this for, around $500 versus the bigger engines here. You're going to run you anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. So
They really teach you how to run these things.
yeah, they do.
And how to tinker too.
Yep. And the good thing about them is these Rubies are designed from the factory to run out of fuel before they run out of water. So unless you're really messing up something, you're not going to run out of water, which would be bad because you could seriously injure yourself, or worse, do serious damage to your piece of equipment here. Hey, what happened over there?
We took out the tunnel portal. Came right out of the tunnel and took the tunnel with us.
Hi, my name's Nick Wright. Some people might remember me from the Wright Railway layout tour we did a couple years ago. So today I'm running a model of Westside Lumber Company number 3. It's an engine that now runs at Roaring Camp as their engine number 2. It's a 2-truck Heisler that originally it operated for the Westside Lumber Company up here in California. So it's a pretty cool little live steam engine. This one can be kind of cantankerous. It likes to break parts just like the real engine likes to do too. So it's kind of a challenge to keep it running sometimes.
And watch the whole string go. It went kabam, and it hit the top of the frame. Yeah, you know the sound. Bam!
What's going on here, Paul?
Well, we're lining up everyone's live steam engines, and we're going to take a group photo with them all.
It's gonna be epic.
There's gonna be a lot of foam.
We foam everywhere. Foam down the street. Foam. So much
Down the
foam.
corner in the front yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Get out of your way there.
Oh, no. I'm totally invading the rest of space.
God damn it, Kevin. My feet are too big. You know what they say about big feet?
Big claw hoppers on.
Big socks. Good thing I don't wear socks. Trains. All right, she's open. All right. Hopefully it doesn't put my fire out.
Well, I think it was a pretty big success. We had 10 live steam engines here, and everything that came ran. So we ran 10 engines, and overall, pretty impressive showing of equipment here. Overall, I mean, I'm really proud of how it went. Great way to celebrate the 5th anniversary of this wonderful project we've been working on. We've put a lot of work into this railroad, and it really, days like this really show how much that work pays off. So, you know, it's really great to see all these engines here and everyone having fun. So it's great. I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Wait, am I back on? Oh, no, I'm not.